Hello friends, how are you? Best of luck to all. Today we are discussing about the US presidents ringing the bell and get notifications. Who was elected US president in 2020? Joe Biden. Who was the first US president? George Washington. What is the official residence and workplace of the President of the United States? The White House. How long is the presidential term in the USA? 4 years. What is the name of the ceremony to mark the commencement of a new 4 year term of the President of the United States? The inauguration. Who was the 45th US President? Donald Trump. What is the name of the US President's office? The Oval Office. In which city was John Fitzgerald Kennedy assassinated? Dallas. In which city can you find JFK Airport? New York City. Who was the only president to ever resign the office? Richard Nixon. Who was president during 9/11? George W. Bush. Who was the first African American president of the United States? Barack Obama. Which famous actress and singer sang Happy Birthday, Mr. President? Marilyn Monroe to JFK. Which president formally issued the Emancipation Proclamation of slaves? Abraham Lincoln. Which US president was at the Yalta Conference? Franklin D. Roosevelt. Which Democrat candidate was against Donald Trump in 2016? Hillary Clinton. Which Broadway musical tells the story of one of the presidents and founding fathers? Hamilton. How many terms did Donald Trump serve? 1. Who was George W. Bush's vice president? Dick Cheney. What was the name of John F. Kennedy's wife? Jacqueline. Barbara Bush wrote a book about her dog. What is the name of his presidential dog? Millie. Which author co-wrote the book The President is Missing with Bill Clinton? James Patterson. Who was the youngest person to become President of the United States? Theodore Roosevelt. Whose state was George W. Bush the governor of until 2000? Texas. In which one of the following movies did Ronald Reagan not star? Miracle on 34th Street. Which US president was the governor of Georgia from 1971 to 1975? Jimmy Carter. Which birthday present did he get for one of his birthdays? A bowling alley in the White House. Which one of the following presidents was not a founding father? Andrew Jackson. Who was the first president to name a woman to his cabinet? Franklin D. Roosevelt. Which one of the following presidents did not win a Grammy Award? Ronald Reagan. Who was the first president who was born as a US citizen? Martin Van Buren. Which president is on the US $50 bill? Ulysses S. Grant. How many presidents died in office? 8. When did the White House's first website go live? 1994. What is the address of the White House? 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, NW, Washington, D.C. 20,500, United States. Who was the first president to live in the White House? President John Adams. Who was the first lady? Martha Washington. Which actress played Jackie Kennedy in The Crown? Jodie Belfort. What was Franklin D. Roosevelt's middle name? Delano. Which president designated the official name of the residence of the U.S. President to be the White House? Theodore Roosevelt. Who was the president during WWI? Woodrow Wilson. Whose party was Gerald Ford Forum? Republican Party. Only two presidents did not own pets. Can you name them? James K. Polk and Donald Trump. Who was Al Gore the vice president of? Bill Clinton. Which state was Bill Clinton governor of from 1983 to 1992? Arkansas. Which Nobel Prize did Barack Obama win in 2009? Nobel Peace Prize. Who was president at the end of WWII? Harry S. Truman. Which scandal was involving the administration of U.S. President Richard Nixon from 1970 to 1974? Watergate scandal. In the first season of Mad Men, an episode is entirely dedicated to U.S. election. Which one was it? Nixon vs. Kennedy, 1960. Which president is often referred to by his initials LBJ? Lyndon B. Johnson. Which American politician and his minions became a famous internet meme after the inauguration of Joe Biden? Bernie Sanders. Which two presidents died on the same day, July 4, 1826? Thomas Jefferson and John Adams. Which is the only president to have been unanimously elected by the Electoral College? George Washington. Rutherford B. Hayes was the first American to own a certain breed of cats. Which one was it? Siamese. Hello friends. Best wishes for all. Please like, share and subscribe this channel. Allah Hafiz.